Hello and welcome to Jack Health Talks 2024 Trends. I'm Katie Brown and I'm here with Jimmy Doucette and Alex Angstrom. Shall we get started? First question. There is a constant inundation of content from the world around us, especially from social, a place where most pharma brands often don't engage over regulatory concerns. How can pharma brands build authentic relationships with their audiences, particularly in these shorter formats?
Whether or not your content is going to live on social, we all have to think through that lens today of, if this is a TikTok, what would it be? And how do I make this as short as possible? Taking industry news and thinking about dramatizing that in a way that's unexpected is a great way to sort of cut through that clutter.
I think in terms of clutter and inundation, healthcare in particular, they have a tendency to be long-winded. And in an extremely regulated environment where there is fair balance, every time you make a marketing claim, you have to back it up with data, you get these really large and long formats. So I think even by virtue of being shorter, even by virtue of considering shorter formats, is a nice way to cut through the clutter.
Commercials on TV and streaming platforms are another common occurrence that many of us often tune out, outside of the rare, highly catchy jingle. How can brands create and capture more authentic content that connects with audiences in a way that feels more human, real, and alive?
Temptation can be to add a lot of production value. And there can be times where that makes sense. CBS recently ran a campaign where they had written a custom song about real employees who work in different functional areas of the company. And that was pretty cool to see that they put that amount of work and investment in. And on the flip side, sometimes having very low production values is a great way to make it feel very real, because that's what a lot of us associate with real, authentic content today.
I think that's really smart. I think that's really because pharma in particular has a reputation of being overproduced. We've seen over the course of the past couple of years, and we talk about it a lot at Jack Health, there's a push away from the more commercial content. They're shifting their focus from product-focused messaging to impact-focused messaging. And that brings out a lot of that human authenticity too, saying we've enabled this. Our science, our work, our contribution to society has enabled these people to be able to come together at these events.
Last question. How can we create healthcare brands that cut through the clutter with consumers and contribute to building a positive brand identity?
There is not a tactic more cluttered than trade shows. You walk on site at any healthcare trade show and it's a sea of white and blue exhibits. We used to joke and call it the sea of sameness. And there has to be ways for healthcare companies to differentiate themselves here, whether it is functionally just tapping into a secondary palette, whether it's thinking about bringing the product benefit or the corporate benefit to life in an interesting way. Doing something a little bit off format and trying to engage HCPs and tapping into different ways to engage them. So I think when we think about brand experiences, it's where are we showing up, and then it's also how do we show up, and making sure that we're doing those differently than our competition.
I like thinking about inspirational things outside of the category. And I would encourage people to do that. Think about what are things that are creating good for the world and are an inherently symbiotic relationship between experience and content. There's a lot of things out there, if you start to look hard enough, where there's experiences that are leading to powerful content, and there's different content opportunities that can inspire really great experiences. The inherent part of creating content out of it can actually be a fun and rewarding experience for everybody.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us at Jack Health Talks 2024, and look out for us in our next installment coming soon.